Hey guys, Max here with Dynasty Trading. I'm going to be breaking down the trade that we caught together on today's live stream, over 100 points of profit with our runners. And I think it's definitely worth going through that setup one more time, and then we'll actually play the live video of it so you can see it unfold real time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is what we call the auction map. And the auction map basically just maps out gamma levels. It's going to map out what I call major quarter levels, the VWAP, opening range, stuff like that. The things that we know that are pretty important throughout the session. So the first thing that's notable was where were we in relationship to today's expected range. So the expected range is going to be 30,977. That would be the high of today's expected range. And then the low was 30,069. So when we opened up, let's just go to like a 15-minute chart. We had already opened up pretty much near, or I mean, the first 15 minutes, we dropped right near the one-day min. So why is that important? Because it tells me that more than likely we will start seeing some type of support step in. We'll start seeing potential buying. And that's pretty much what ended up happening. So that's kind of like the first thing that kind of helped frame the long idea was where were we in relationship to the auction map. But now let's get into the actual execution chart, because the next layer of what we look at is going to be order flow, and also we're going to be looking at execution itself, like the patterns that we actually enter on. So for us, what we try to do is not, we're trying to get long, we're trying to get short after the other side, after the opposition ends up getting wrecked, right? So what do I mean by that? So what I'm looking for, if I'm trying to get long, the first thing I want to do is see sellers active. I want to see active participants, people who are actively selling, and that's when I want to be buying, right? And so the way we got into that setup here is you can take a look here at my Renko chart. A couple of things that's worth noting is, first of all, we had a big buying take place over here. So we can see, I don't know if you can see these little bubbles here. Everyone's talking about big trades. This is a really old indicator, but I guess it's cool now. But anyways, you can see aggressive buying happening here above our New York Open, right? So that's like the first thing I wanted to see. And the next thing that we start seeing here, price begins to try to hold and accept above 250, but they fail to do so. But here's what's important. They didn't just hit the level and reject the level. They hit the level and they spent a little bit of time here, granted just a few minutes, but they spent some time there before they rotated away. Cool. Next thing, we start seeing big sellers come in. 183 contracts, 259 contracts, 208 contracts. Great, no problem. But now what? We have our VWAP here. We have 225 here. We have this structure right over here to my left. This level right here is important because this level is the level that created this movement up, right? So when price comes back to retest, we see aggressive selling. If the sellers were going to win this battle, they would have had no problem getting underneath these lows. So we should have seen price take out the low, hold the low, and then continue lower. That did not happen. Instead, these sellers aggressively sold under the VWAP, price pops up. Price comes down, price pops up. What ends up happening, microstructure, we start creating higher highs and higher lows. We know what that is. And then what happens? Boom. Explosive breakout, right? So I'll play the actual live video of the trade, but this is basically taking the time to explain, this exact moment in time, what happened. And then from there, you obviously will see the outcome of that trade. So I'll go ahead and flip gears and put on that replay, and hopefully you guys get some value out of it. And if you do, just hit the like button. I'm going to try this little scalp long here, just because I wasn't really convinced of that price action in and above that level. So I'm going to take a long there and try to target the opening range high again and or IB high, but I don't know. We'll see what happens here.